Мы предоставим слово сейчас нашему специальному уважаемому гостю из Соединенных Штатов Америки. Я прошу вас надеть наушники, потому что он будет выступать на английском языке, будет идти синхронный перевод. Член Американской медицинской ассоциации, ассоциированный член Всемирной медицинской ассоциации Анкуш Бензел, Соединенные Штаты Америки.
Good morning. My name is Ankush Benzell. I am a member of the American Medical Association, and I'm going to be presenting about the American system of federation in healthcare. I'm speaking as an individual, living, educated, and practicing medicine in the United States. I'm not representing any medical association, including the American Medical Association, except that I'm very familiar with the practices in the United States. Next slide. Next slide. So, American Medical Association is the premier national medical association of the United States, representing more than 170 national medical specialties, state medical and county medical associations. The AMA represents close to 1 million physicians in the United States, but only 1/4 of that are members of the AMA. Being members of the AMA is voluntary for physicians, it is not compulsory. Each state and territory has a state medical association, often modeled after the AMA. Each state medical association has proportional representation at the AMA House of Delegates, which is the legislative and deliberative body of the AMA. Many counties also have local medical associations, which are represented at the state medical association. Next slide. All of these county and state medical associations, as well as the AMA, represent all medical specialties at each level, culminating at the national level of the AMA. National specialty associations also have proportional representation at the AMA House of Delegates. Together, these specialty, county, state, and national medical associations comprise what is called the Federation of Medicine in the United States. Next slide. So, history of the AMA. In 1845, at the New York Medical Association Convention, a physician by the name of Dr. Nathan Davis created by resolution the American Medical Association for the purposes of scientific advancement, standards for medical education, medical ethics, and improving healthcare. In 1847, AMA was officially founded. In 1873, the first Judicial Council of Medical Ethics was founded. In 1883, the first issue of the Journal of the American Medical Association was published. In 1906, the first publication of all physicians in the USA and Canada was published. It was a directory for anybody to use for all physicians. In 1910, the world-famous Flexner Report on medical education in the United States and Canada was published, which standardized medical education. In 1943, AMA opened its first advocacy office in Washington, D.C. In 1966, the first edition of what is called Concurrent Procedural Terminology, CPT, to standardize medical procedure terminology, was published. Next slide. So, organizational structure of the AMA. Besides the staff and the chief executive officer, the organizational structure is set up by what's called the Board of Trustees. There are 9 officers of the Board of Trustees, all elected by the House of Delegates. And you can see their pictures here of the current officers. The very first picture is the current president. Her name is Barbara McEnany. And then president-elect and the past president. Second row is the Speaker of the House and the Vice Speaker. They are ex officio members of the Board of Trustees. And then you have the chair, chair-elect, and immediate past chair of the Board of Trustees. And on the final row, the bottom row, is its secretary. Next slide. In addition, there are 12 additional members of the Board of Trustees, again, part of the organizational structure. These members are also elected by the House of Delegates. They run campaigns and they create coalitions, just like any other election, and they serve on the Board of Trustees. These 12 Board of Trustees are all physicians except one who is a medical student and one who is a non-physician public member of the Board of Trustees. In the final row at the bottom right is the Chief Executive Officer and Executive Vice President of the American Medical Association. He is employed and is a permanent member of the American Medical Association. Next slide. So there are three primary functions of the American Medical Association. The first one is what is called the House of Delegates. That is a deliberative body. Physicians from all over America can submit resolutions about any topic, which I'll get to in the next slide, where they discuss things like public health, legislative issues, insurance, and other issues. Those resolutions are then brought before the House of Delegates. They're deliberated and then voted on, whether they become policy for the American Medical Association or whether it's a directive for American Medical Association to go to the state and national legislative bodies, the United States Congress and the state legislative bodies, to put into practice as a law or a regulation. So basically, House of Delegates is a parliamentary policy-making body. There are members from 170 medical societies all across America, made up of state medical associations, specialty societies, and other medical societies. They meet twice annually in June and November. They discuss policy, statement, and advocacy. Physicians are not required to be members of the AMA, but if they want to become delegates of the House of Delegates, they must be members of the AMA. So there are 7 councils of the House of Delegates. They are ethical and judicial affairs, long-range planning and development, legislation, medical education, medical service, science and public health, and constitution and bylaws of the American Medical Association. In addition, prior to the full House meeting on the floor with members of all 170 delegations, there are what are called reference committees. These are committees, small groups, where the different resolutions are discussed by topic, and people can give testimony to the members of the reference committee. They then meet afterwards and give their recommendation to the full House. Later that day or the next day, that full House meets, the reference committee presents their recommendations, and then members of the House of Delegates decide whether they want to accept the recommendation or whether they want to deliberate further. If they accept, then that becomes the policy according to what their recommendation is, whether it is to adopt, not adopt, or to study further by the Board of Trustees. If their decision is to deliberate further, then it is re-deliberated and a new recommendation may come out of it, or it may become the same recommendation. And again, adopt, not adopt, or further study. Those reference committees, there are 8 of them. They are legislation, medical education, finance and governance, public health, science and technology, medical practice, science and public health, and medical service. Next slide. So the next function of the American Medical Association is advocacy and lobbying. And they do this through several ways. One of them is the first image you see, AMPAC, which is the American Medical Association Political Action Committee. So they go and they lobby Congress, White House, and regulatory bodies. But even regardless of AMPAC, the physicians, members of the American Medical Association, the officers, and anybody else in America who is part of medicine can go and they can lobby to the White House, the President, U.S. Congress, Senate, and House of Representatives. They can argue a case before the Supreme Court or give a brief. And then the second and third rows are the individual agencies that are part of the U.S. government that have something to do with medicine. Even Department of Defense, Department of Justice, they make decisions sometimes that affect us as physicians and our patients. So it's important that we also advocate in front of them as well. So, targets for American Medical Association. Since it is a federal body, our primary targets are U.S. House of Representatives, U.S. Senate, federal departments, and their agencies. The state medical associations. So, for example, I'm from Florida, so I'm a member of Florida Medical Association also. We will also lobby to the state governor, who is the chief executive of the state, and the state departments and agencies. So, example topics: physician practice and insurance, government reimbursement for services, for example, Medicare and Medicaid, which are federal insurance programs in America, insurance regulations, so that's the third party, private insurers, public health, and then scientific and medical research funding from things like National Institutes of Health, Centers for Disease Control, Food and Drug Administration. So next slide. So the third function of American Medical Association is scientific advancement. And they do this primarily through either continuing medical education in meetings such as this, or they publish journals. So there are two types of publications that they do. The first one is on ethics. So as you can see in the first image, they publish a book every 5 to 10 years called The Code of Medical Ethics. There's about maybe 700 to 1,000 pages on medical ethics in medicine. What you should do, what you should not do, what are the considerations to do when treating any kind of medical issue that the patient may present to you. In addition, below that, you see what is called the AMA Journal of Ethics. That is published about every month to every 2 to 3 months, and that's about topics that come up every now and then in the news and what physicians are talking about. How do you apply the Code of Medical Ethics to those particular topics? Then on the right-hand side, you see 12 journals that American Medical Association publishes. These are peer-reviewed clinical journals like Lancet, like British Medical Journal, all of those. So we have Journal of American Medical Association, JAMA, Psychiatry, Internal Medicine, Pediatrics, Otolaryngology, Oncology, Ophthalmology, Neurology, Cardiology, Facial Plastic Surgery, and Surgery. So next slide. So what the AMA does not review and determine legal capacity of a physician or admission to the profession. This is a state or territory regulatory function through the boards of medicine. So in the first image you see the image of the Florida Board of Medicine. They are part of the state government, they determine that. AMA does not determine legal regulation of the physician activity, including licensure and discipline. Again, that's a state function, for example, the Board of Medicine. And third, AMA does not specifically cooperate with investigating authorities unless they are asked or unless it is in the interest of physicians in general. That is, otherwise, that is a function of the federal and state or territory governments, including the Board of Medicine. Next slide. So as part of the World Medical Association, the AMA is a constituent member of the World Medical Association. Members of the AMA delegation are from the officers and board of trustees. So those images I showed you earlier today. They use AMA policy to guide testimony at the WMA Council and General Assembly sessions. But WMA policy does not guide the AMA policy, although it may be referenced for HRD policy discussions. The reason for that is because AMA is a membership organization and the delegates that are there are representing their members. So they decide on what they want as policy and what they want as advocacy, and they may look at WMA policy and use it as a reference. But they cannot say, okay, because WMA has this policy, this is how we're going to pass it, unless the members at home say, okay, we agree with that, we want to use that as a model for AMA policy as well. AMA policy is guided by resolution submission, testimony, and voting results on each policy and report by the members present in each House of Delegates session. 12 AMA members have been chairs of council, including the outgoing chair that you see on the last row all the Artis B. Hogan. She is the current chair of Council of the World Medical Association. 6 former AMA presidents have been presidents of WMA, including Yank Kogel on the left, and then next to him is Cecil Wilson. So next slide. So just briefly about boards of medicine, each state and territory has a board of medicine. So all 50 states and the territories like Washington, D.C., Puerto Rico, Guam, American Samoa, those kind of places, they all have their own boards of medicine. Their general function is fourfold: determination of qualifications for licensure, licensure application, review, issue, and renewal, setting medical practice rules according to law passed by the legislature, and investigation, discipline, sanction, suspension, or expulsion of licensure based on complaints or malpractices. Their composition is often appointed by the state or territory governor, and then they must be confirmed by the legislature. So executive branch appoints the members, and then legislative branch confirms that. They are often physician members, and often at least one of those members is a non-physician member of that board of medicine. And they all are part of what is called the Federation of State Medical Boards in the United States. Thank you. Any questions?
Да, есть вопрос. Значит, большое спасибо за такое короткое, но очень фундаментальный, значит, рассказ о Американской ассоциации. И вот хочется спросить, знакомо ли американскому врачу и, значит, Американской ассоциации такое понятие, как профессиональное выгорание врача? То есть, когда врач, значит, недоволен той ситуацией, которая, значит, его заставляет людей из профессии. Есть ли такие прецеденты, значит, в Америке, и как с этим, как ассоциация участвует в решении данного вопроса?
Yes, so AMA does not participate specifically for each physician, but burnout is a major issue in America as it is in all countries in the world. We have an epidemic of burnout among physicians, among trainees, and even among medical students that unfortunately often leads to suicide. In fact, of all professions in America, physicians have the highest rates of suicide compared to any other profession, specific profession in America. So AMA, as well as all other medical organizations, they have embarked on a campaign of trying to address the causes of burnout and how to deal with that. So in America, it may be insurance regulations, so they're working with the state and federal legislatures on simplifying regulation, electronic medical records, work hours, all those sorts of things. So that's the first step on addressing what the causes are. The second thing is bringing in ideas about how to deal with burnout, relaxation techniques, making sure that you have work-life balance, that you're not overworked, that you have support from your supervisors in the hospital or in your organization. All of those sorts of things have been going on. They put out position papers on a regular basis on the problems of burnout, how to address them. In the last several meetings, we have meetings twice a year, there have been resolutions repeatedly about this is what we need to do for burnout, and almost all of them have passed and they've become policy. And what that means is that because AMA is the most respected and largest organization of physicians in America, hospitals will listen to that, and many hospitals will follow those recommendations. The politicians will also look at that, and they understand that AMA has a lot of power and influence, so they will either pass laws or pass regulations to support physicians, or they'll invite physicians and the Board of Trustees to speak in front of Congress, in front of the state legislature about the problems and how to address them. So yes, it's a big problem, but they address it on a global scale rather than individual physicians.
Большое спасибо, Анкуш. Еще один вопрос, касающийся членских взносов в Американскую медицинскую ассоциацию. Какой членский взнос на сегодня выдает врач, один и тот же он для всех врачей, этот взнос? И как он соотносится с средним заработком врача в Америке? Спасибо.
Sure. So there's a tiered system. So students, medical students can become members of AMA. That is a very nominal fee, I think maybe $100 per year. Trainees have the next level, which I think is about $250 per year. For the practicing physician, I actually just paid my membership fee just a few weeks ago. That was $420 per year for that. Now, the state medical associations, they have their own fees in addition. If you're a member of the county medical association, they have their own fees. Specialty medical associations have their own fees as well. So this is just American Medical Association. It's $420 at least this year per physician, per practicing physician. As far as salary, it depends on the specialty. If you're primary care, you may earn anywhere between $150,000 to $250,000 per year. If you're a cardiothoracic surgeon or a plastic surgeon, you may earn maybe $1 million per year. So it's $420 for the membership fee as opposed to $300,000 a month.
Можно такой вопрос задать? Вы говорили, что ассоциация занимается лицензированием врачей и отзывом этих лицензий. А врачи, которые не состоят в ассоциации, они где получают лицензию?
So AMA does not license or revoke licenses of physicians. That is done by the Board of Medicine. American Medical Association is like an organization or like a union of doctors. So they provide the education, they do the advocacy, and then they do the House of Delegates, the policy making. So they are not involved at all in the licensure. So that's why you don't have to be a member of American Medical Association to practice as a physician. That is done by the Board of Medicine, which is a branch of the state government. So in America, you don't have a federal licensure to practice medicine. You have to have a state licensure because of the Constitution. So if you want to practice, for example, I am in Florida. I have a Florida license. If I want to practice in New York also, or see a patient in New York, I must also get a license in New York. So you have to get a license in each state that you want to practice. But that is done by the state government, not by the
Скажите, пожалуйста, в чем интерес врачей американских быть членом АМА?
Sure. So the reason that many doctors are interested in AMA is number one, so that they can get the education, continuing education. You require that to renew your license every 2 years. You have to show that you're continuing to learn because, as you know, medicine is always changing. You have access to the tools that I mentioned. And then,
Извините, с переводом.
And then the third thing is that because they're interested in policy making and in changing the landscape of healthcare in America, and they want to participate in that, so they are members of the AMA because they can submit their testimony to House of Delegates, even if they are not members. Now, if they become delegates, that means they want to go one step further, and they want to actually deliberate that in front of the AMA, all of these policies and perhaps advocacy as well. So that's why they become members. Now, a lot of members are not happy with some of the policies that are passed by AMA, and there's always disagreement about that. Some members then resign or they say, I'm not going to renew my membership. Again, it's voluntary, it's up to them. A lot of times they'll come back because there'll be some issue that they're interested in, that they want the AMA to discuss, because they all understand that AMA is very powerful and influential. So then they become members so that they can come to the House of Delegates meeting and discuss them.
Да, пожалуйста.
Спасибо. Скажите, пожалуйста, профессиональные объединения по специальностям, например, хирургия, онкология и другие, они входят в состав АМА?
So yes, there are separate medical specialty organizations. They are also delegates of the American Medical Association, just like the states are members. They are otherwise separate organizations. So for example, I'm internal medicine, so my specialty organization is American College of Physicians. American College of Physicians is all internal medicine. So they have their own structure, their own functions, but American College of Physicians are also delegates to American Medical Association. There is also oncologists, there's American College of Surgeons. You can think of it similar to, like for example, in Britain, there's British Medical Association and Royal College of Physicians. Very similar in that regard, but in America, the specialty organizations are not incorporated into American Medical Association. They're separate.
Большое спасибо. Проблема с переводом. Технически вы, пожалуйста, повнимательнее, потому что мы все знаем английский язык. Последний вопрос. Скажите, пожалуйста, Анкуш, кто в Америке занимается разработкой клинических рекомендаций и протоколов лечения? Кто ассоциация это или кто ставит конечную точку?
So it depends on the protocols. If it is day-to-day medical protocols, that is done by specialty organizations, by researchers who then publish in the journals, and American Medical Association sometimes may do that, but generally they don't do specific protocols. That's more done by the specialty organizations and by researchers. Now, the government, the only protocols that they do are primarily ones regarding issuance of medications, prescriptions, because that is a function of Department of Justice. If it's a prescription, especially if it is a medication like an opiate medicine. And the other thing that they do is regarding transplant. So Department of Health and Human Services sets the protocol for who gets the organ transplant, what the protocol is for that. But the clinical protocols, that is developed by the specialty organizations and by individual researchers who then publish, and that's accepted by the people.
Большое спасибо. Последний вопрос из зала. Докладчик.
Вопрос следующий. Вот, дистанционное профессиональное образование. Есть в Америке единый портал, как часто говорят, IT-платформа для дистанционного профессионального образования. В частности, ключевой момент – это подготовка помощников врачей или администраторов клиники, которые берут на себя основную проблему, связанную с документооборотом, подготовкой приема, подготовкой соответствующих историй болезни, выписки и так далее, и так далее. Вот как это у вас сформировано, и этим занимается ассоциация, или это отдельные поставленные сервисы на аутсорсинге?
So there's not one repository online or otherwise that does the medical education, continuing medical education, including for medical assistants. However, there's an organization also in Chicago where AMA is headquartered, separate from AMA, called the Accreditation Council for Continuing Medical Education. AMA is one of the primary members of that organization, but it is not part of the AMA. So this Accreditation Council, they determine what continuing medical education that's offered by other organizations, by companies, meet the minimum standards that they should be considered medical education, and that physicians should be able to get credit for that. So, for example, if you have a course that you want organization or another organization that is contracted by Accreditation Council to prove that you have met those requirements, that there's no commercial bias, that the physicians that are teaching that are of high standards, and that you also submit exam questions for the participants so that they can test their knowledge. And then they receive a certificate once they complete it, that they can then submit to either the hospital, their organization, insurance, whatever it is, to show that, okay, we have done this, I've done this education, I've passed this exam, this is a very short exam, usually 5-10 minutes. And that now I am qualified for this very specific narrow topic. But yes, that's Accreditation Council of Continuing Medical Education that does that.
Большое спасибо, Анкуш, за выступление, большое спасибо за отвеченные вопросы. И напоминаю всем, что докладчики будут до конца конференции здесь, и в конце конференции будет открытый микрофон. У кого какие-то остались вопросы, их можно будет задать, и Анкуш с удовольствием ответит. Большое спасибо.